1 out of every 110 babies
born today
are diagnosed with autism.
Autism.
That's an increase of 57%.
57% since 2002.
When autism is 1% of the children, the reality is we're not really dealing with something called autism. We're dealing with a bunch of children who are ill.
He stopped speaking, he stopped looking at us, he stopped responding to his name.
You'd say it over and over, and Jacob, 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 and just no acknowledgement.
He started to become less interactive, less eye contact.
He wasn't engaging in activities that kids his age were participating in.
He was putting his hands over his ears, sensitive to sound.
He would sit in the corner and spin in a circle, or he would take a car and spin the wheels and watch the wheels spin.
He would lay on the floor and watch the wheels just go, and that's all he did.
She was kind of really in her own little world.
These children present with multiple symptoms that we were trained were medical, but somehow we're writing it all off as autism and psychological. It's impossible for a developmental or genetic disorder to ever become an epidemic, and yet we are condemning these parents and children to no future.
They're telling us all the things he's not going to be able to do in terms of having a normal, healthy, fulfilling life.
And that maybe I should look into, a group home later that he would probably never perform, independently.
His preschool teacher at the time said she questioned his ability to learn, and that was devastating. To have someone tell you that they didn't think that he would ever learn anything, and that he would be sort of stuck.
All we wanted for him is to experience some normality, have relationships with other people, connect.
People told me he would never care for anyone in the same way that other people did, and that he would never have emotional connections to other people.
The speech pathologist said, "Your child will never learn to love." That's a really hard pill to swallow.
I have essentially watched families go to experts around the country, go to leaders around the country, and realize that those experts, those leaders, have completely turned their back on these families. They are desperate, they need help, and that's supposed to be our job as pediatricians.
When you get in this world of autism, there's 2 million people trying to sell you something or trying to push something on you to make your kid better. Jude had 9 doctors and therapy every day.
He was working 35 hours a week from age 3 till 5 doing behavior modification.
I mean, he was put through it, really put through it. It was really, really hard to watch.
It was at that time we found something on the internet about this doctor, Dr. Goldberg. He would actually do blood tests and see, if there's any type of medical reason for this.
If you throw out autism, then you suddenly realize we have a massive medical epidemic affecting the brains and bodies of these children. It is time we recognize that these children are ill and have autistic-like symptoms, but do not have autism.
Call it what you want.
Call it what you want.
Call it what you want.
But don't call it autism.
But don't call it autism.
But don't call it autism.
We were reserved. We weren't sure what to believe because this was probably the 15th or 16th thing that we have tried. And after about 2 weeks, it was like he gained a year.
Month after month, he was able to do more things.
And one day he opened his mouth and he had, within a week, a 2,000-word vocabulary.
My son's got straight A's in junior high and wants to go to MIT. He's incredibly smart.
He says he loves me. Mommy, I love you. He gives me hugs and kisses.
I remember calling my friend Maria and going, guess what? You're never going to believe it. And it was like a final breakthrough because all of a sudden I had a connection with my daughter. I thought, yes, she's feeling that emotion. She's getting it. She's connecting. And that was huge. It was huge.
I no longer had that doubt that he's going to be able to take care of himself. He has a future now.
If you knew what we've gone through to get to this moment, and I was very excited.
I just pray that other people will have the same hope because it's just not reserved for our family.
There is hope. There's hope.
There is hope.